What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Alright, here we are with another Tabletop Takeout Tuesday, my friends, and I gotta tell you, this got forced into the schedule. Yeah, I came in all chaotically, knocking and bumping shit around, just to make sure that this got in here today, right now. Why? Because it's worth it, and it was fun. And that's what this is, a for fun channel. There's no backers or sponsors or patrons. We're just here having fun with games and having fun making videos about them. So why don't you join me down the table, because I know that a lot of you get upset when I knock around the schedule that I put together. You can think to yourself, go to hell. Well, I've just been there, and now I'm going to tell you about it. All right, my friends, come on, join me down the table, and I will tell you what I thought and think about Fallen Lands 2nd Edition, Post-Apocalyptic board game. Come on! I'll see you down the table. Now, first I want to say that my longtime viewers, or anyone that's just delved into my older videos, may know that I am a big fan of the 1st edition of Fallen Land. It's always been in my top 3, sometimes sitting at 1, sometimes sitting at 3, sometimes sitting at 2. It's always been in there, and it still is to this day. Well, it doesn't have to be anymore, because now there's the 2nd edition. So another thing I just want to be right up front about is, much like the 1st edition, this is one of the few titles that I actually got for free. This was given to me by the publishers, by John Lonergan and Sean Cahill, to play and make videos about. They enjoy the channel, and they wanted to see their game on this channel. And it turned out that I did love the game, regardless of the fact that it was free. I absolutely did love it. But it was such a big footprint to put together, and the box was just so chaotic. I mean, packed tight. I've never seen, you hardly ever see board games packed as tight as that. Woo! So it didn't get played as much as I wanted it to. Then, I heard they were working on the 2nd edition, and I got really excited about that. Everything I read about it looked good. Streamlined some of the rules, which I don't think the rules were anything really that needed streamlining, but hey, what's okay. So I'm reading that about it. I'm looking at the Kickstarter when it comes on. I'm looking at the new cards, the new expansion box that's you can get with it if you chose that level, the Descendants box, and how that's the card sleeve box, the card holder. I was like, oh wow, and that the game came with trays. It wasn't an extra. Wasn't an add-on. It came with trays, so that everything we could just pull right out of the box and be ready to play. Oh, man. And then I was contacted to find out if I wanted a copy of it. Do I have the same address? Yes and yes. There's a lot of reasons why I don't do a lot of videos about games that I get for free, because I really don't get a lot of games for free. Fundamental Games sends me some titles for free. And that's about it. I am waiting to hear back word on another game. I don't want to jinx anything. It's another company that gave me a free copy of a big, huge game, multi-level girder game. I don't want to jinx anything, so I'm not going to go any further into it. But other than that, that's it. I'm not the channel that anybody says, hey, let's send them a free game because I want to see my game on their channel. No, I'm not that guy. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But I just wanted to point out that this is... they gave it to me for review purposes. Alright, so this is a big box adventure game. I mean, and on the first one, for a medium-sized box, it was big. Like I said, it was so packed. My God, it was so packed. But this is an even bigger box. And it works out great. Like I said, it has the trays. If you get the Descendants expansion, that box itself is the sleeve box, which goes into the main box. How could you not love that? so it doesn't take up any more space on your shelf. Don't you love it when an expansion box just fits right into the main box, or at least the components of it does, so it doesn't take up more room in your shelf space? Oh, I love that. So many companies just want it seen, that they don't care that it's taking up more space on your shelf. In fact, they're happy to know that you may have bumped a game for it. I don't think that. No, these guys did good, man. Making it fit right in the box. And the second edition came with the 2 expansions from the first game. So, wow, this is a no-brainer. You know, no-brainer. If I didn't get it free, I would have been backing this. I know that for a fact. So, yeah, big box game. And that the setting for this is something that is not overly done in board gaming. There's a nice collection of post-apocalyptic board games, but you know, it's not like fantasy games or Cthulhu games or zombie games or anything. It's not that level of saturation into the board game community. So to see a new one, which is what originally, with the first edition, is what got me excited about it, because I was trying to find a really good post-apocalyptic game, and I wanted to start a post-apocalyptic shelf for the gaming room here. So that all came together. But this is an even bigger box with more stuff in it. Everything fits in fine, and the post-apocalyptic feel that the world has gone, or at least America, has gone through multiple apocalypse, like an atomic nuclear apocalypse. There's a biological apocalypse. And then some things have escaped that were kept, and some secret technologies from pre-war days have been found. So you get like alien tech stuff and some mutant stuff in there as well. It touches on a lot of post-apocalyptic concepts. I mean, the game me and the guys just played this weekend, which we did a live stream of, I dropped a zombie plague on Ryan. I mean, every form of apocalypse that you can imagine or have heard of is probably in some way, shape, or form referenced in this game. So I love that. I mean, it doesn't take just one concept and run with it. It keeps running with one concept and grabbing more from the shelves along the way. I like that. So I was looking for something like this to begin with, much less now the updated second edition. Very cool, very cool. I'm so glad it's here, and I can't wait to do some solo plays of it. Now, the game is massive. The amount of cards that this game has for encounter cards, mainly, well, I mean, it has a lot of character cards. My God, there's a lot of character cards. There's a lot of spoils cards, things that you get. But the encounter cards were really what get me, because the massive amount, I've used that word a few times here, haven't I? The huge amount of original writing and idea or concept plotting for stories that goes into each and every one of those encounter cards is highly impressive and must be pointed out for the sheer amount of work and imagination that it took for that many cards. My God, there's a lot of encounter cards. So the replayability is, I can't even imagine assigning any sort of percentage or number or concept to it, because just the number of cards alone is so undaunting. And then combine that with the fact that you're going to combine these cards during the course of the game. Different cards are going to come out in different orders. I mean, it's never, ever going to be close to the same game twice. Replayability, if you're looking for games that have good replayability because you want to know that a fun game you have, you can keep putting to the table and keep getting a new and fun experience out of it, damn! Fallen Land delivers that in aces. Now, these story cards, right? They take the game and they give it this almost RPG feel to it without making it an RPG. But the grandness of the stories that these cards have, they transform this apocalyptic title into this sort of like ongoing series of adventures that are going to be different, as I just mentioned, each and every time. And between the rolls of the challenges that you got to make, it completely gives you this old school cliffhanger feel that you don't get from a lot of games, even games that are similar genre to this or are created in a similar way. I have not gotten that feel, that sensation from many of them. And this one delivers it across the board. Now, not only is this one of the most highly immersive thematic games that I've ever played, but I like the multiple concepts, the multiple modes that you have in this game. I'm getting so excited I'm losing my words. But the multiple ways that you can play this game, from solo, anywhere up to 6 players. The game is neither cooperative or competitive. Although, I mean, it's competitive because somebody needs to win, right? You got to get to the scoring points to win the game. But it's so real world mentality where, yeah, you can be cool with the other players, or you can not be cool with the other players. You can make treaties with the other players. You can break treaties with the other players. This past game, I had a nice little thing going with Andrew, and then all of a sudden he just decides to drop some bomb bullshit on me, and I went medieval on his ass because of that. It's like, yo, we had an agreement here. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Well, you should always be expecting it. You should always be. In this game, you should. But so it takes it to these levels of social interaction, which you don't see a lot of, in this style of board game. Usually they're their own genre of board game, but this adds that in. Yet another component that's going to make every single game you play different, because even if you're playing with the same exact people around the table, using the same exact town cards each, that they're using as their player mats, you're going to get different deals. You're going to get different backstabs. It's always going to be a game of just trying to guess how the hell you can best survive this. It's not easy. It never is, and it's not supposed to be. Now, as far as the player count, yes, I did say it goes to 6. I just want to make a little note. You may have seen it in some of the pictures so far, or maybe you've been so mesmerized you've missed it, but I do want to point out that this game is listed, playtime is going to be 1 hour per player. Now, obviously, when you first jump into the game, and everyone needs to learn it, learn the rules, learn the system of how the turn works, and all the things you get to do on your turn, it's going to be it's going to be like an hour and a half, each player maybe. But after that, once you have at least the majority of players around the table that know the game, know the flow of it, which is only going to take like one sitting, then it's going to be really easy. It's going to go fast. And I really do believe in that 1 hour per player. You can tighten it down so you get some really good players that know the rules and, just breeze through a lot of things like the town events and everything. Yeah, I can see that tightening up a little bit, but I don't think that's realistic enough to say that, yes, it is under an hour per player game. It can be, but don't expect it. Don't expect it at all. But I wanted to point that out, that this is potentially, depending on the number of players you have, this could be an all-day event. So plan ahead. And the game has a short version. You can play just a shorter version of it. To half victory points. And even that is going to be, wow, it's a fun day event. Let me just say that. It's a fun day event, but just be wary. Be wary. Of that. I'm trying to laugh and talk at the same time. Be wary, my friend. Now, I just want to close off by saying, this isn't a full review, so yeah, we're not getting into the details of the rules and everything. I usually say that up front in the tabletop takeouts. I'm sorry I didn't. If you're expecting a full review, that'll be down the road. No promises when. But just the initial thoughts, right? So I gotta say, I own an entire shelf. You can see it, right? You can see just a little bit of it right here. Right here. You have an entire shelf of post-apocalyptic board games. At least one of them sucks. It's just there because to fill up room on the shelf. Most of them are okay. A few are really good. A couple of the, I keep the Judge Dredd there because that is an apocalyptic setting that Mega City is in. At least 2 of those games out of the 3 I have are really top notch. But I gotta say, out of all of the post-apocalyptic games that I own on this shelf, plus any of that I've played in the past, this is it. This is the best. This is the cream of the crop. This is a masterpiece. This is a chef's kiss. No, this is a double chef's kiss because it is second edition, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. This game reminds me, besides everything else I said is cool and that I love, blows me out of the water. There are 2 games from my past that have a special place in my heart that this reminds me of. The first and foremost of it. Did I say foremost? they're kind of both equal. Wow, it feels so funny. But okay, just to put them in an A-B order, that's it. So first is Gamma World by TSR. One of their early games after Dungeons & Dragons. In fact, the first edition Dungeons & Dragons was a Player's Handbook, a DM's Guide. I think it's Player's Handbook. There are rules for converting characters from Boot Hill, their Old West game, or Gamma World into D&D and vice versa. That's how far back this goes. But the other game it reminds me of is my Commodore 64 days back in the 80s. This totally reminds me of Wasteland. Oh, still to this day, well, just like this, it's the top 3 home video games I've ever played. Wasteland. And this game captures both those feels. Reminds me of Gamma World and Wasteland. And I don't think any other game will ever do that. Even if they make a board game of Gamma World, even if they make a board game of the old Commodore 64 Wasteland, I don't think they're going to capture the feel as well as this does. But I'm up to the challenge if they ever come out with them and playing them and testing them against this. Look, if you enjoy sandbox games, if you enjoy science fiction games, if you enjoy post-apocalyptic board games, if you enjoy a very light RPG but very heavy storytelling feel to your games, rich thematic immersion, that's it. This is the game. Now, don't listen to me because I'm not an influencer. What I mean when I say this is the game is this is the game you need to go get more information on. And don't listen to influencers. Go watch some playthroughs. Watching a playthrough of a game, something that you're interested in, you're thinking of, watching that playthrough is going to tell you more honestly than any reviewer ever will. So go watch some playthroughs. I got a couple. There's a lot better playthroughs than the ones I film with my camera, but I don't care what playthroughs you watch here or any other channel. Just watch playthroughs of this game and make up your own damn mind. But if you're looking for any of those things I just ticked off, post-apocalyptic, sandbox, thematic, any of those whatsoever, this game is probably going to get your attention pretty big. But go, make up your own mind. Don't listen to influencers. Unless, like me, they tell you just to watch the playthroughs and make up your own damn mind. But go, get more information on Fallen Dominion Studios' title, Fallen Land, a post-apocalyptic board game, 2nd edition. I'm your buddy Big John G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and I am